Welcome everybody to episode 134 of Perpetual Backlog Podcast. I'm your host Aqua, like usual, and joining me, as always, is Dalit.
Hey, I'm here again.
Yeah, and Leek.
Hello.
Hello. How's it going, guys? How's your guys' week been?
It's been hot.
It has been hot.
It has been here as well.
The whole United States has a heat advisory. What the fuck?
Oh my god.
Like, I was looking at my weather thing like before you got in, Leek, and I was like, just looking at it, it's 80 degrees at 11:46, and it's 84% humidity, and I'm like, why? What is this?
Yeah, today for me it's because it's cloudy at the moment. It's 88 degrees, but tomorrow is going to be 98.
Okay, I'm going to complain less because that's actually worse, and I believe your humidity
and the
is
humidity
way higher.
is like it's through the roof.
I'm so sorry. That is actually the worst.
There's more water in the air than there is air.
It's
ridiculous.
Take a deep breath. Grab a drink.
Yeah. Last Monday it hit 100.
Goodness gracious. I'm okay.
Oof.
I am well okay off that.
I need to move to a place where it snows like all the time.
Oh, wow. No, other extreme. No.
I love snow.
Dalit is to be kept at a temperature between 60 and 70 degrees. I will push down to 50, but I won't be happy about it.
Aqua likes anywhere between 45 and 55. I can do lower. But
yeah.
Any higher than that, I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, I like any temperature that I'm not auto sweating because I hate auto sweating.
Well, I mean, half of that tends to come from humidity itself. You just wake up and feel gross immediately.
Yeah.
So,
well, thankfully, we live in countries that believe in this thing called air conditioning. None of us live in Europe, so that's the good thing because they don't believe in air conditioning over there. But you know,
it's just the bills, man. It's the
American
bills.
Oh yeah, no. I'll be honest with you. I'm not turning on my AC. I can't afford that. I have two fans aimed directly at my back.
Oh, I.
By the way, as I've
said,
for like every major hot day of the last, what has it been, 3-4 years? You got me this. Thank you for the fan link.
You are welcome.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about climate change or any weather type shenanigans.
This time,
I did just watch. I did do like a random rewatch of the world the day after tomorrow. So, good movie. No, we talk about video games here, and I guess I have to talk about Trails into Reverie.
Go on.
Because it came out this week.
Sure did.
Or technically last week, I guess. Last Friday it came out. By the way, we're recording this on a Friday because I had to go to the doctor's this week, and I did not want to record. I did not want to finish recording at like 2:00 in the morning and have to be up at 4 or 5 hours later to make sure I'm ready to actually go to the doctor's. But yeah, this goes into our little question email from Little. He's like, "Hello, backlog team. Sorry, been busy with 16. He stopped asking us questions before 16 came out, so don't let him fool you, okay?" So it slipped his mind. This week, all he has to say is NIS America, and he'll let me take it from here. Also,
yeah.
PS Dalit finished PS4.
Yeah. When I get back, I promise.
Man, Okay, so I've played Charles and the Reverie, all right, before, like 3 years ago when it came out in Japan. And it's called Hajimari, all right. And I played it with fan translation and everything. It was I played it with a very curated fan translation because
It was really good. Yeah.
It took them quite a bit of time to go through it, and like they did like a few editing passes over it. All right. So it wasn't like they just did it once and then just like threw it out to the public. I mean, this game's still fun. It's still, I mean, I still understand how to play it or whatever, and everything like that. That's not the issue with this game. The issue with this game is I need to know how long they were actually working on this game, because this game does not feel like it was been worked on for anywhere near a year. For one, localization, and two, any type of QA.
Yeah, it's weird.
There were a lot of bugs in this game, for both PC and PS5 or whatever. There was an update like yesterday that took care of most of the bugs for the PC version, but the PS5 version still has it. There are some localization changes for this game that either feels like I hate saying that they don't know anything about the series, because the one of the people that is running the localization absolutely knows everything about the series, because she's the reason we are able to have these games in the first place. But I also sometimes don't agree with her localization ideas, like calling Elaine Beauty's Blade instead of Sword Maiden for some reason.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Even I with that one was like, no, I'd have gone a bit more literal with that one.
They changed the final dungeon in this game is called in Japan it's called Reverse Babel. All right, which for anybody that knows any bit of English can honestly understand kind of what that means. All right. But in the English version, they changed it to the Retribution Tower, which is weird, because as Little sent me a picture earlier today, they may have changed the name of the dungeon to Retribution Tower in the game. All right. But the OST that they give you with the limited edition still has the track calling it Reverse Babel.
Oops.
And also, in the beginning of the game, there's like a program that starts. It's like a cutscene that has like a program in it that starts, and it says Project Babel, and not Project Retribution, I guess. And I'm like, if they don't ever mention Babel at all throughout the rest of this game, and the only thing they changed into, or if they don't mention anything called Retribution Tower, unless it's just literally calling it the Retribution Tower at the end of the game, I'm really mad, because that is very inconsistent localization. Some voice lines didn't get voice lined, and they kept and they just didn't do anything with, like, okay, so Laura, when she casts arts, is still her Japanese voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
When doing a link attack with between Elisa and Toa, Elisa calls Toa Angelica. And like very there's just a lot of stuff, and I'm like, I don't believe they worked on this localization, or they didn't do. I don't think they did any QA in this game, and that's actually pretty damning for me to say, considering the people that did at least the PC and the PS5 ports of this game is PH3, who is the Durante team, who is the guy that is known for doing all the fixes for the PC ports of like almost any game, like Dark Souls and Nier and all them. They did all of those fixes. But I feel like maybe Nisa just didn't give them any time to do any QA for these games.
Yeah, this is the issues we keep running into, or I see you continuously running into. So strange.
The the biggest bug that was in this game was a lot of the new characters that like weren't playable in at least in the Cold Steel iterations of the games. Their link attacks were they didn't have link attacks. It was literally a list of just said link attack. So anytime you leveled it up, it just said link attack. There was for anybody that plays like Cold Steel or whatever, when you like level up your like links between characters or whatever, they get different types of like of additions into their link attack. So like when if they're if an enemy is like close to dying, or if they're like within a range of being hit killed with like an auto attack or whatever, it'll automatically do the auto attack. Or if your character is casting an art or whatever, and if they have like the link buff of being able to like buff the characters like a magic damage or whatever, it'll do that. No, a lot of the new characters that weren't playable previously just had a bug where it was just link attack and they didn't do anything. So like I think a good third of the cast is not unplayable, but like for like hard stuff or whatever, if you were like banking on some of what their like link attack buffs would be or whatever, you wouldn't be able to use them. So but that's been fixed in PC. It hasn't been fixed in PS5 from what I've gathered. But specifically,
I'm surprised they didn't just roll out the fixes at the same time, because
costs
usually
more money to patch a console game than it does a Steam game.
So this is true, but usually the limiting factor isn't the price. It's that weird 2-week wait time for patching console games going through Xbox or Sony. I believe it's the same for both of them. I think it might be slightly different for Nintendo. So this is the first time I've heard, if it is money, this is the first time I've heard that be the big limiting factor.
I mean, I don't know what the limiting factor is. Maybe PH3 didn't like just focused on getting a patch out for PC, and then now they're working.
It is
on PS5.
true. Yeah, it is true. It could be that the patch came out first for PC because they just didn't feel the need for parity because there's no cross play of any kind. So I mean, it does actually make sense now that I stop and think about it for any amount of time.
Yeah, it's just weird. There was apparently crashes when you're doing fishing or doing the
not fishing.
Yeah, not fishing, man. The fishing's like half the game. Or you would get sometimes, like I didn't get a crash in it, but there were crashes when you're doing the Magical Alyssa R fucking light shooter game.
I always forget that's a thing.
So like yeah, I didn't hear about any like extremely game breaking bugs, but it was still riddled with like it wasn't that there was one giant slash to kill the game. It was kind of slightly a death of 1,000 cuts. There was a bunch of like little stuff that was like very annoying. That being said, I mean, still Charles game, still fun. Man, I was saying this on Twitter the other day. I think there is a conversation to be had about what is important when it comes to localization in video games. Because I think it's changed over the years on what it should be. Because in the past, when games weren't like, I wouldn't say not as popular, but like, when games needed to really be like, put in a way that actually like really like I guess a word that fucking means like something like that really kind of like maybe hooks an audience, like lets them understand what is actually being said. That I think that's changed over the years. All right. Because you would have games like back in the day, like 7 or whatever, which obviously 7 didn't really have a localization. Almost all of it was like literally pretty much direct translation.
Yeah.
Which sucks. Direct translation suck. You can't direct translating a game is not possible because you, especially from Japanese to English, you would get a lot of stuff that would not make any sense. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But when actual localization came into play, it's in my opinion, localization is there to put the stuff that is being said in the original language in a way that like pretty much specifically grammar wise, in a way that is understandable to the US audience. All right. When it comes to a series like Trails that is very specific in its language, I don't feel like obviously grammar is like 100%, and obviously stuff needs to be changed. But when it comes to naming conventions and everything, I don't believe localization should have like creative freedom in changing stuff like that. Because if you have stuff like Elaine Allclaire being called Sword Maiden, she had really specific kanji in Japanese that specifically made sure to call her Sword Maiden, right? And the explanation for changing it to Beauty's Blade was that to us it doesn't make sense that two characters in Kuro make fun of her for being called Sword Maiden, when to us apparently either one Sword Maiden could either be like plain, or some people would be like, oh man, Sword Maiden sounds like a cool name or whatever. But the issue is the explanation is that like Elaine doesn't like being called Sword Maiden, right? And to us, maybe Sword Maiden might sound really cool or whatever. So like maybe it doesn't resonate with us that like why would she hate being called Sword Maiden or whatever.
Yeah.
But the issue is the character does not like being called Sword Maiden. It doesn't matter what we think. All right. It doesn't matter how cringy we feel when we hear the name. It matters how cringy the character feels when she hears the name. If she doesn't like being called a maiden or whatever, then that's that character's prerogative or whatever. Just because we're like, oh, it shouldn't feel bad for somebody to be called maiden, doesn't mean that character just doesn't like to be called maiden or whatever.
Yeah, you have to translate jokes properly. Localization is important because at least it will. You have to translate jokes. You have to translate slurs or like not slurs.
Insults, you mean?
Insults, I mean.
Yeah, probably shouldn't bring the slurs into it.
Well, actually, that actually comes into play with Kuro, because there is a very controversial as fuck character in that game. All right.
Oh, really?
And he calls characters. I guess I mean, do you count being called a whore a slur?
I will. Yeah, I would say so. It's a big insult.
Probably.
Aaron calls Judith a whore almost every other scene.
That is true.
Really and
quick,
slang is what I really meant. Slang.
Yeah, slang. Okay, fair.
Slang, yeah.
Before we get too far away, whilst I agree with you, mostly just in particular to this outing, because I think a lot of the localization choices, particularly in Reverie, are bad.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe not bad, but they are unnecessary.
Yeah, they weren't necessary.
Yeah, I will say that I don't know that I think that should be a hard and fast rule. And for a couple
not
of
for
different
every
reasons.
game. Not for every game. I think it depends on game.
Yeah, and a lot of the issues for this one in particular, let's not beat around the bush, does come from the fact that you played it in Japanese as well, so you had to know all of that. I would bet money if you'd never played the game, none of these issues would be there. Beauty's Blade would be really weird, but it would actually fit in the context of what they said. Now, again, I'm not in love with that change. I don't think it's necessary, but a lot of these changes happen for, I mean, like they said, for the reasons they gave. And usually, people don't play it in Japanese as well, so they never know. It's not that this doesn't happen, it's just that most people never have to run into this knowledge.
Yeah. Actually, I wanna bring up. Actually, we did actually mention Final Fantasy VII. We should bring on and well, Dollett knows him as Christian, but mostly on the internet, he's the official Crane. He, with the person who translated the Japanese, actually rewrote a lot of Final Fantasy VII for their English voice mod. To make it more streamlined, to take out all the weird translations, correct translations that didn't quite fit. So he's actually very used to this as well for games development. He also did it for King of Fighters. There was no English script, so he had to write it all as well.
He also allows the actors a lot of freedom as well, because I changed a couple of my
yeah.
So,
yes.
You said the official. You said
so. If you want to have a discussion,
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't followed on
because I asked you to.
Oh, okay. I followed him on Twitch at some point in time, and I see him streaming every now and then. I'm just like,
yeah. So if you want to talk about localization and stuff like that, you should bring him on. He can talk for a while about
Yes,
that.
he can. Yes, he can. Other than that, though, another issue you run into with localization, and we're definitely going to talk about this in a bit, is time versus money. I've complained about this for all aspects of entertainment, and I will continue complaining about it. You're expected to go in and do your job as best as possible in the shortest amount of time. And that breeds issues. For some projects, it's worse than others. So I don't know how much time they actually had. It feels like they didn't have the 3 years that they said they did. I'm going to be honest, and it shows.
Yeah.
So,
and actually, this is actually kind of what I feel kind of baffles me. Right? We have precedents of something happening with this series particularly. All right. That could have happened for this game and Kuro 1 specifically. All right. Nisa has bought a fan translated script for games in this series before. All right. They bought Geofront's script for Azure and Zero, went through and had their own editing passes and slight localization changes, right? And used them for their official releases of Zero and Azure, all right?
Yeah.
I don't understand why they didn't do it for Reverie. They had Zero Field had a full script, the game entirely translated. They could have just done it again.
I mean, to be fair, companies probably shouldn't do or encourage that, which I suspect is the reason why it didn't happen again. It sets a weird precedent, I think.
But here's the thing: they already nipped that in the bud, right? They already took down Zero Field from doing Kuro 2. All right, no other group was going to do another translation. They already took down the last group that was going to be fan translating the series. All they had to do was just buy the scripts from both of them, or buy the scripts for both games, and then they wouldn't have to deal with this ever again, because they would just cease and desist the next group that tries doing it.
That's true, but that's a very consumer-focused take on that. Which,
well, yeah,
I get.
Well, I mean, which Nisa's not very consumer friendly. I can tell you that.
This is my point. Like that's still a pretty bad business model. Short term is great, right? Because it means that most of the work is done. But it's just it comes down to it's not a good look, and I guess they foresee issues with that. Which, to be fair, I foresee issues with that.
I don't know, because They said they had already ceased and desist Zero Field from doing Kuro 2 because they had announced that they were doing Kuro 2, and then they immediately got told to take down the Hajimari spreadsheet that they had up, and they had to take down the Kuro 1 spreadsheet that they had up. No other group has. There has been a machine translated patch for Kuro 2, but let me tell you, that thing is ass. And almost nobody wanted to use it. I think there was a group going in and maybe doing editing passes of it, but I think that they got took down as well. So there's no other group that's going to be doing that. So I really think they could have just just bought the script. It would have been probably less money. They wouldn't have had to have so many people maybe doing any of the routes for localization. They would only had to do editing passes. Yeah. It's probably a very good business decision because they wouldn't have had the
only short term. Again,
short term for these next two games or whatever. But like, Kuro 2's not coming out for another like fucking 4 years. So, it would have been short term then, all right. And like I said, no other group. All they had to do was cease and desist the next group that comes up or whatever, because
they've already done that technically. You said they forced Zero Field to take it down. It means that they're not cool with it. They've already cease and desist.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying it wouldn't be a short term, like it wouldn't be a short term fix. It would have been short term in the fact that they wouldn't have had to put so much resources into doing Reverie or Kuro 1 or whatever. And building up to like being able to do whatever they can for Kuro 2 or whatever. Like all the work is done. All right. All of the work is done. They don't have to do much with these scripts that are already out. So, and the next game's Kuro 3. So like all they have to do is take in what they had in the original in the scripts for Kuro 1 and 2 and just apply that to the translation and localization to whatever they had to do in Kuro 3. The only one that would actually change is if when we go into a new arc, because then they'd have to actually like go in and like actually look at like a lot of the shit. Anyway, yeah. The game's fun. Yeah, the game's fun. That's about all I can say. I mean, I love this series, but like, man, oh man, do I have I had issues with Nisa ever since they took over, and apparently so do a lot of other people, because a lot of people haven't even gotten their limited editions of this game yet.
Yeah, that was a bad look. I mean, I'm sure they have it by now.
A lot of people may have just got it today.
Yeah, but even still, that's unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable.
So yeah. I mean, that's that's all I played. I played Honkai Star Rail and Honkai Impact 3rd. That's it. That's all I did.
Mine is also
30 minutes up.
Yeah, mine is also very short. The only games I played this week were Final Fantasy 12. I mean, after finishing Final Fantasy 16, I wanted to play what I perceive as its nearest relative. Because I don't think it's actually 14. I think 14 spiritually it's very similar, but in terms of the writing and theming, I think 12. A lot of 16 feels like an Ivalice game, so I went back to play that. And that has the upside of also letting me see another unique take on battle from Square, and why this one might be more widely appreciated than the turn to real-time action.
Mm-hmm.
I love 12. I have a lot of issues with 12, but I still like it. Like, I never had an issue with gambits. A lot of my issues came from character or some events that happened that I'm not in love with. But nope, still love 12 all this time later. Aside from this, I've been playing a bunch of Diablo.
Vagrant Story?
Vagrant Story is a weird one, right?
How would you compare that to 16?
So technically,
that's also an Ivalice.
So yes, but no.
Oh,
Square Enix considers it a part of the Evil East Alliance, but Matsuo, the writer, does not.
yeah.
He said
Oh,
very
okay.
specifically, no, I borrowed a lot from Evil East, but I at no point wanted this to be a member of that timeline. And Square's like, nope, we like this. We're gonna put it right at the end. 12's at the beginning. 12's at the beginning. Tactics is all in the middle, and Vagrant Story's at the end. And when I heard that, at first I was surprised, but it kind of does make sense after in a
Mhm.
roundabout's way. In terms of Vagrant Story to 16, I think it's just like 12, like the other Evil East games in general. There's a
Yeah.
lot similar to it, right? Like it's very politically driven, lots of Machiavellian movements happening in there. It's a lot
Yeah.
less about face-to-face action and more about how you maneuver through all of the like backstabbery in politics.
There's a
Yeah.
reason. There's a reason for that.
Hey guys, don't forget to sub to the channel if you're into what you're hearing. While you're down there, remember to like the video as much as we like you. You'll be good now. Well, yeah.
Because
I mean,
even tactics was based off of Game of Thrones.
yes, and I don't think a lot of people actually recognize that um all of the Evil East games, maybe
Yeah.
not. I think all of them are based off
I
a
think the whole
song.
world. I think the whole world pretty much.
Yeah.
Of Evil East.
Well, actually, that's not true. 12 isn't based on A Song of Ice and Fire. 12 is based on goddamn Star Wars.
Wait. Tactics was based on
Not
Games of
based.
Thrones?
So this is word choice is
What
important.
confuses the simple brain, please?
Inspired by Game of Thrones.
Inspired by.
People don't seem to be
Books
aware of
existed way
how
before that.
old. Yes, how old A Song of Ice and Fire
I
actually
didn't
is.
know.
Yeah.
This is blowing my mind.
So yeah, like all of these do have that same very strong tie back to being somewhat inspired at various levels by A Song of Ice and Fire. Song of Ice and Fire came back in '95, I think, thereabouts.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the series is very old despite having so few books. He takes his time to write, and he's run into writer's block a couple of times. But genuinely, they're so interesting and they're so like well written that these are direct inspirations.
96.
90. I was close. Damn. But yeah, no. Because of like this shared inspiration, Vagrant Story and Tactics, even more so than 12, but Vagrant Story and Tactics feel very similar conceptually to what 16 wants to do. And I just, it's not even close. Like the entire, nope, don't get into 16. Don't do that. Yes. That's going to be my answer to that. Yes, there are similarities there. They are the obvious ones from the word go in Vagrant Story and from the word go in Tactics Advance, all of them really. You can feel a sense of similarity in it. As a matter of fact, I am genuinely surprised that they didn't just make 16 an Evil East game. But I guess that would constrain them in some way, and they enjoyed their freedom. So fair.
Well, for one, they'd have to bring Matsuno in to do.
Oh, they wouldn't have to, but man, people would have looked at them funny if they didn't.
Well, I don't think Yoshi P would not have done it without.
I agree.
Yeah, because obviously, I mean, even the Evil East stuff in 14, Matsuno wrote it.
Matsuno was a part of. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll move on from that. I played 12. It was great. Still enjoying it. I am slowly but surely becoming way too powerful, way too quickly, because this is an old game and it's been broken for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, I'm playing Diablo because it's a game I can shut my brain off and press buttons and watch things explode. Game was too easy on World Tier 3. Game stepped up for World Tier 4 though. I no longer have that opinion because I need to get new gear.
Game not easy anymore.
It'll go back to being too easy once I get this gear, but like
and then you go to Tier 5.
Exactly, but like every time you hit a new world tier, it's like, oh right. There's actual difficulty here. And yeah, that I've been playing with our friend Matthew and Dee, and it's been a great time. Not much to report there. Diablo 4 is a shallow game, and we like it because of that. And yeah, I played a couple of mobile games, but they're not even worth really mentioning this week. Nothing special happened.
Except
Karen
Kafka
didn't
comes
come in
out in
yet.
3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, that's future excitement. That's not present excitement. Karenina came out yesterday. I forgot how much it costs to roll on characters, so I didn't get her yet, but I will get her before she goes away.
Right.
That is all. Like,
Hmm.
what did you do? Because I don't want to get stun locked on mobile games.
Well, to switch off brain, I was playing Hokko Life mostly because I was also very busy.
One more time for me. I
Hokko
didn't catch
Life
the
is
name.
just Hokko Life. It's basically Animal Crossing for PC.
Oh, you have mentioned this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
no,
awesome.
actually, it's really in depth because you can design your own furniture and stuff like from scratch and then post it online for people to get. Not just clothes. It's actually just like full on crafting items. So I can make like interior design become my
Oh.
own. Yeah, that's very cool.
Can you,
Yeah.
for me and maybe other people whose brains are as smooth as mine, could you spell that out for me so I can look it up?
Yes, Hokko is spelled Hokko, and then life.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah,
Hokkaido.
it's fun. It's a animal life. Yeah, so
Oh
you can do
wow,
the
it just
usual.
does look like Animal Crossing. I
It
thought you
is.
just
It
meant
is just.
thematically.
No.
It looks like it. Fair.
Yeah, you got character customization and stuff as well. You can build houses for your villagers. You can change the landscape. Well, as in put bridges and stairs and shit everywhere. You can put outdoor furniture out all over the place as well. You can literally mold the village to whatever you like.
Oh, that's
Eventually,
lovely.
yeah. And there's fishing, there's mining, etc. The staple, right? Let's see. Yeah, I've been playing that. That's been fun. I will go back to Stardew Valley at some point because it's just it's my lifeblood. But no, I'm gonna start the game Dredge. See, more spooky
Yes.
fishing. More spooky
Yes.
fishing. Dredge is going to be fun. I watched a little of other people playing, and it's great. I like the little art style for the characters. I like the spooky vibes. Spooky fishing. Yeah. Also, I got Deceive Inc. Have you heard of that one?
I haven't.
Deceive.
Yeah.
It sounds like Werewolf or
Well,
Hmm?
it's essentially Team Fortress 2, except you're all spies
Oh,
with different
okay.
gadgets and skills. Yeah. And one team is supposed to complete an objective while the other tries to beat you. But it's not just one team. You can be up against 3 other teams. There is like a 4v PvPvP.
Oh goodness.
You know. Yeah, so that's interesting.
It's from the same publishers that do Chivalry 2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know them. Their offices are like literally like 20 minutes away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tripwire Interactive.
So yes, I'm going to play that a bit. That's completely online, I think.
That makes sense just by nature of the game. Yeah.
Yes. And so therefore my backlog ever becomes more perpetual.
Living up to the name.
I know the feeling. My Steam account's like worth like $3,000 apparently.
I looked it up. I was literally half of everything for Aqua. I was like, wow, holy crap.
Like 200 and something video games, man. Ridiculous. Anything else, Leak?
That is it, really.
Oh, very chill week. Very chill.
Yeah, well, except work, but yes.
Well, fair.
Is work ever chill?
Kind of actually.
Oh.
Yeah, it's good. It's good jobs.
My work's never chill.
Uh-oh.
My work
Hey, can you fill up my card?
Hey man, fuck you. Go to a bank, asshole. All right. Well, that's good. That's good. I did a little sting in the beginning because it was topical.
Relevant, yeah.
Yeah. Which means we get into the news. All
For
right.
the meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes. And let me tell you, this first topic is a lot of potatoes. So, Sony came out and talked about the future plans for the Horizon series. And boy, am I getting tired of PlayStation, actually. So obviously there's a Horizon 3 coming at some point in time. I think they dropped the title of it. So I think it's called like Horizon 3 Nemesis or something like that. That's cool and all. I still haven't beat Horizon 2, so there's that. A while ago they did announce that there was going to be a Horizon multiplayer. So like how every Sony game gets, there needs to be like a multiplayer outside of Spider-Man. So yeah, there's gonna be Horizon Online. Not to mix it up with one of the other things that's coming out, the Horizon MMO.
No, I'm very confused actually. What's the difference?
We don't know.
We don't know.
So I have an idea about it actually. Hey, you remember that online portion of Last of Us?
Oh yeah. The Horizon Online is going to be a like versus multiplayer type.
Yeah, whereas the MMO will presumably you'll choose one of the various clans around the Horizon world.
Right.
God, I don't remember anything about it. And
What
you'll
about... Yeah, Karen, sorry.
yeah, and you'll probably do various things, taking down and making friends with the robo animals to ride about on. I liked Horizon 1 well enough. I do not actually see how this really lends itself to being a good MMO, though.
Yeah.
It's open world.
Unless it's like Ark.
It's a massive world.
It's Ark Online.
It's mostly for me because I'm so stuck into the story that we've been giving. I'm like, I just don't care about any of the individual cultures there. I just I was more interested in, okay, for the first game, what is the truth? Oh, this is after an apocalypse and this is post-apocalyptic. Cool. And I don't even know what the idea behind 2 is, I guess, because it just looked like she was saving San Francisco from a blight. I'm gonna be honest, I don't dislike Horizon. I'm just, for some reason, it did not grab me. And so like the concept of this is like, I'm not sure what you do in this world for an MMO story. Like, all MMO stories end up having to be ridiculously large scale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the stakes have to be so high. In this world, it just feels like every day is kind of a struggle, and you make it by. It feels like it would lend itself more to something like Rust than like
I was going to
14.
say, you say that, and I said, yeah, you say that, and I made a joke about VOC Online, but it's going to be in that genre. It's going to be like Rust, like the Sons of the Forest, blah blah blah.
Okay, I'm so.
I'd imagine it would be, right. It has to be like a survival.
I agree with you, because my brain is just so defined by like MMO versus survival.
Survival crafter,
MMO.
blah blah blah, right?
Because that would make much more sense to me.
Yeah.
Because the clans all did war with each other anyway, so that checks out.
Yeah. Clan points. I don't know.
Yeah.
What about the VR one that was coming out?
Hasn't it already come out? Yeah. Call of the Mountain, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh, is that also a multiplayer?
No, I believe that's very single player, strictly on rails.
Oh, yeah. I see. Okay.
Yeah. And because we already knew about it, Horizon Zero Dawn remake, because it needed a remake, apparently.
Look, listen. I am already predisposed to not like this game. I really liked the first game. It did not need a sequel. It got a sequel, and it did nothing that I liked about it. That is a personal gripe. I grant you this. Let's now add on top of it that thing that Last of Us 1 did that was entirely unnecessary, and within 5 years, remake it.
Yep. Well,
What,
I mean,
what are they?
I'll
What are they gonna do?
I'm okay. Okay. So I'm not okay with the Horizon Zero Dawn remake. All right. I'm not okay with that. I don't think it needs a remake or whatever. Remaster maybe, like maybe upscale some stuff, and make it a PS5 only type thing or whatever. Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. I don't think it needs a remake. All right. But as we now move on to the next bullet point,
I'm sorry, I got
this
ahead of myself.
I made this tweet, man. I'm like, it is really hard for me to keep saying I'm a PlayStation fan or whatever, because they keep doing shit like this. The composer for The Last of Us Part 2 leaked out they are doing a remaster of the game that came out just about 3 years ago. Don't need a remaster of
So
a game
this,
that just came out.
yeah, this is the one I thought we were talking about. But in both of these instances, it's a weird thing. The jump from PS4 to PS5 is not the jump from PS2 to
No.
PS3 or
Yeah.
PS3 to PS4. These
Yeah.
remasters do feel really out of place. Like the best thing about the PS5 is that you can play PS4 games on it and they still look great. Like I don't see why a remaster is necessary other than a second grab at cash. I'm sure the lighting will be better. I'm sure they will do something to the models to make them look slightly better, but I don't see what this game is going to do to warrant a second playthrough. I really liked the first one. I really liked the first one, but it was still a game I was only ever going to play once.
Yeah.
So, like, to it has to be a very impressive thing to warrant that. And I just don't think we're there yet. I think we're about 7 years too early at minimum.
I don't even think the jump from PS3 to PS4 was even that big. I only agree with stuff being remastered or like redone for PS3 to PS4 is because
Just
that's
get it
the
off the
only way
PS3.
the only way we're gonna get the games. All right, it's
Just
for
get
them
it
to
off
do
the
that.
PS3, absolutely.
But it baffles me. This game came out like 3 years ago. All right, Last of Us Part 2 came out 3 years ago. It still looks good. Like there's nothing dated about this game. It looks about as good as most of the stuff that has been made for that has came out within the year. It doesn't need a like. I guess it could use. I don't even think it could use a port. All right, I'm pretty sure it would still like benefit from the load times that I'm sure if you played the PS4 version on the PS5, the load times would still be pretty good. Like that would probably be the only thing that I maybe can understand them doing like a remaster for it or whatever, like a strictly just PS5 like port of the game, is because even if you play a PS4 game on PS5, it doesn't fully utilize the speed of loading that PS5 games do. That games that have a PS5 version. All right, so that's like the only thing. There's no need for the graphics. There's no need for any of the lighting. There's no need for any of that. There's no need for controls. There's no need to redo Last of Us. There's a need to remake Last of Us 2, make the story better because that game's fucking shit.
Saw this coming.
But if you're not fucking with that, then there's no reason or whatever. Just have people get the PS4 version and play it on PS5. Like it is hard. Like I love PlayStation, right? I love my PS5 or whatever, but it is very hard for me to justify half the stuff that Sony does or whatever because it literally let's just throw more money at doing this stuff. And the only reason why I honestly the only reason why they're actually doing this or whatever is because they need to recoup the money that it took to make these games. For games like Last of Us and games like Horizon or whatever, these games took $200 million each to make. All right. And I go ahead and tell you, they didn't make that back. At least with Horizon Forbidden West, they definitely didn't make $200 million off this game. So,
and this comes down to something that I complained about, I believe, last week. This is all scale. Games have outscaled what can be done for a reasonable price. We've gone too hard. Open world games are, in many ways, kind of a blight on the industry now, because players don't want to deal with them if they're large and empty. Devs can only fill up them so much, and the amount of time and effort that goes into having a world that big is unrealistic for the amount of time and money they're given to work on it.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm not surprised that they're not making their money back on this. I'm not surprised at the bloated price to make it. I cannot wait for executives. I can't wait for someone to create a better game type that is smaller, more refined, and people will get super into, so that all the follow fashion executives decide that's what they want to do, and the devs get to finally make something reasonable.
Hey man, we've already done this. They've Honkai Star Rail. It's smaller,
I don't
more
know.
curated, and let me tell you what, it definitely recouped the money it took to fucking make this game.
Yeah, problem is so did Genshin, and Genshin was an absolute bloated mess.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the issue with gacha games or whatever. They're gonna make their money back.
I just want, like, I have so many issues with what mobile games and AAA games have done to their own industries.
Yeah.
But that's not today's episode, so I'll leave it at that.
Oh, no. All right. Next bullet point. So we all knew about the writer strike that started like months ago. And the last time when I was looking at the list of, like, when I was writing on their like little Google Doc or whatever, the first bullet point that I had on there was executives worried about writers and actors strike possibly happen, and that was the last time I wrote on that Google Doc, which was a while ago, because our last couple weeks, like last month and a half of episodes have not been me writing news points on Google Doc. It's been all like curated like topics or whatever. So this was actually a while. And now we're here to talk about how since the writer strike's been going on, starting today, the actors strike has started.
Yes.
And
let me tell you about that. Yes.
Take it away, my actor inclined friends.
Okay, so actors first, I guess. And I think Dollar has something to say about voice actors, very related situation.
Sure.
Actually, IGN pretty sums it up well. So they say that SAG and AFTRA reveals Hollywood studios' shocking proposal for actors and AI. Yes, folks, we're entering the dystopian era. Here we go. So yes, the Screen Actors Guild and American Federation of Television and Radio Artists is officially hitting the picket lines, and during the press conference today announced the news. Guild leadership delved deeper into one particular concerning issue that performers are brought up in contract negotiations: AI. It has not been a secret that protections against artificial intelligence-based technology using actors' likenesses without their consent or compensation is one of SAG and AFTR's big sticking points. But during today's announcement, the National Executive Director Duncan Crabtree Island, that's his name, passionately went into more details about what Hollywood studios offered in regards to AI, and it's pretty shocking. Responding to a question about what the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, the organization now bargains on behalf of Hollywood studios, this is in quotations, groundbreaking AI proposal to protect performances like digital likenesses. Crabtree Island didn't mince words. Yes, he said, in that groundbreaking AI proposal, they proposed that our background performers should be able to be scanned, get paid for 1 day's pay, and their company should own that scan, their image, and their likeness, and for people to use it for the rest of eternity in any project they want to with no consent and no compensation, he said. So if you think that's a groundbreaking proposal, I suggest you think again. Right? What the fuck?
And it is literally the most insane thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, taking away the fact that they just want to pay for 1 day's work is already, that don't like that.
No.
But
And
on
then
top of that, to
mhm, mhm.
own a person's likeness in perpetuity, insane, fucking nuts.
Yes.
Because they're not going to get paid on the back end for the use of their
Nope.
likeness. That
Nope.
now belongs to, I believe, in this instance, they were quoting very directly Disney.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely insane.
Yeah. And people all over social media have been actually, funnily enough, Black Mirror did an episode exactly about this topic. It's called
Black Mirror has
Oh my God.
predicted everything.
Really? The episode in question is from season 6. Joan is Awful is the title, and it's exactly about this very topic. Exactly. I watched it today. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, so that's it really. If you want to find out more, Culture Crave, which is at Culture Crave, one word, on Twitter, they posted a tweet about it as well. They say studio's proposal to the SAG-AFTRA included scanning background actors using AI and paying them for days' work. The studios would then be able to use them as likeness and blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing, but they have the tweet that you can follow. And they also posted a video about the strikers commenting on this very thing. So if you want to look at that, please do.
Just
That's it, really. Yeah. So that's it on the actors' side.
Yeah, I'm gonna dip into it a little bit because actors and voice
Okay.
actors have a lot of carryover. So SAG-AFTRA, as Leek has said, is the Screen Actors Guild and American Federation for Television and Radio Actors. And amongst those people are, of course, voice actors.
Yes.
Like their television and movie and radio cohorts, they are in a big dispute about payment, but also, as Leek has mentioned, AI is a growing force for evil. A growing worry amongst all actors, especially now that it's been said out loud, is that their likeness or their vocal likeness in this instance will be used either A, without their consent, or more troublingly, with their consent, but with no payments. So AI has the capacity to do a lot of things that the actor may or may not be in agreement with. And once that's been signed away, however, they'll have no say in it. And this has been shown off with a much lower or smaller scale on Twitter this past week.
Yes.
Don't know if you heard this, but Erica Lindbeck got chased off of Twitter for voicing her displeasure at an AI using her voice to do something she wasn't really down for.
Yep.
In this particular instance, it wasn't harmful, but it was her voice used without her consent. She took offense to that and had a whole bunch of people send a lot of very nasty messages to her.
Yeah, and she's already had a really rough personal time as well. Like, a partner passed away and stuff.
I genuinely didn't know this.
Yeah, unfortunately. So she was already like done with a lot of things, and then this happened.
Yeah, no, like it's been rough, but this does put in perspective exactly what they're arguing against. And again, this is a smaller scale. Obviously, this is a personal thing. Someone on YouTube made a video that she just kind of wasn't down to be a part of, and asked for them to be taken down. But that is exactly what the Screen Actors Guild is fighting against. Like, you should have complete control over your likeness, your voice, and how it is used. And to get to the very end of this, you should be paid for that. Every use, every time you pop up. Like, residuals should be a thing that you are getting, and this goes directly into the other half, which we've reported on before. The Writers Guild AI is just as big an issue there.
Yes.
ChatGPT essentially being used to write write full episodes, or at least do the heavy lifting, and having editors come in and clean up from there. Lord knows we've seen it used in law to detrimental effects and got called out. So yeah, this is a new technology in its infancy, immediately being thrust to the very highest levels of said industries, and that can't happen. There needs to be so much work put into that for all parties affected. For right now, the only people who win in this situation are the executives, who get to make more money by paying out less, straight up. And I mean, I might not, strictly speaking, do much acting anymore, but I always have the back of my brothers and sisters. So yeah, please don't be a scav. Please don't break the line. They want to essentially starve out the actors and writers. I'd say
literally said that.
Yeah, I will say I would say they've been subtle about it, but they haven't. They've outwardly said that.
Yeah, no, like, was it Ron Perlman spoke out about it? He said
Perlman wasn't happy about it.
Yeah, no. What did he say? The end game, he said the studio execs who said the end game is to allow things to drag on until union members start losing their houses. And then he, as a response, said, there's a lot of ways to lose your house. One of them is figuring out who the fuck said that and where he fucking lives. I was like, whoa.
Enjoying the video? Remember to like and sub. Helps out the channel a bunch, and we're grateful for everyone we get.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want Perlman saying that to me. I'm going to be honest. I really like Ron Perlman. He's a very tall, very strong individual. I would be terrified. And admittedly, by the way, we should say this because we have to. We don't endorse that. That's
of course not. Of course not.
But it was said, and this is being reported on.
Hey, man, you fuck with people's livelihoods. I honestly kind of go towards. Do what you need to do.
I mean, yeah, like there is this weird 60s and 70s mindset that AI was going to be the future and was going to let everyone do what they wanted to do while robots did the hard work. And that is a beautiful thought that I don't even think is impossible. It's unlikely, but I don't think it's impossible. The problem with that is no one wants that. Because the people in power still want other people around, and the people who aren't in power, we're gonna want work. It's not like the idea isn't that robots come in and we never work again, and it's the best thing in the world. We still need to make ends meet for home and for food and for all of this. But even beyond that, this is just what it's always been. Especially when it comes to artists. Well, you love to do it, right? Well,
you love to do it, but it's like for any freelance, it's per job. So if you haven't stacked up enough work for a time, you're not going to be able to pay for life.
Exactly. You can't eat on love.
Nope.
Sorry. Love won't put non-physical love won't put a roof over your head.
Yeah.
Still got to make money.
And
I'm surprised we've gotten to a point where we obviously have like this art stuff that people continuously consume over the years, like acting. People still continuously consume like these movies and stuff like that. How are residuals not a fucking thing? How are they not a thing?
Oh, it's not just that either. It's actually just straight up paying people. Like, was it Brandon Winkler, who's a voice actor? They did some
he hasn't even been paid
on
for
Genshin. He hasn't even paid for 4 months.
Yeah.
Like that's insanity. Again, this is what I was saying. For some reason, specifically in the art sector, because I don't think this happens anywhere else to this degree. And maybe it's because the art sector is actually massive, but it's seen as you will do this for the love of the game.
Yeah.
Which is weird because you would never say that of athletes. Athletes are making their money.
Yeah.
There's something about artists that just come off as you'll do this for the love, and if we shortchange you, it's fine. You'll just get another job. It has to stop. It has
Yeah.
to stop. And this is how the actors and the writers and the directors, until they got what they wanted and backed out, were going to put up the wall for. Like someone said this, and I agree with it, but it is problematic because it puts too much onus on people who don't care. It is technically not the job of the employers to make sure that everyone gets paid well. It is the job of the government to make sure that their citizens aren't getting fucked.
Yeah.
So, by doing these strikes, I do hope this means that government agencies will look into this and start taking this seriously. Because at the end of the day, these are people. These are people who need this money to get along. I'm sure people will point to Perlman and who are other like really big, like Fran Drescher. Like she's the nanny. Everyone knows her. Everyone loves her. She's the president of SAG-AFTRA.
Mm-hmm.
Like they look at
Yep.
this, like these people getting paid enough. These are the faces, but these are not the people who are strictly being fought for. It's
Yeah.
everyone you don't see that needs
They're
that
standing
money.
up for they're standing up for people.
Yeah, they're using their notoriety
Mm-hmm.
to force this message home so that you will you might think of them, but by doing that you're helping out the people who you will never know or the people
Yeah.
who aren't as known now.
Because because even Matt Damon's getting in on it as well.
Damon was the name I was looking for because I saw his face up there.
Yeah, because he had his they had like a quick interview on like one of the red carpets where he's like, yeah, we're shutting down a lot of our stuff because we need the fight for better pays for like if there's not a good deal, then we're just going to keep it closed.
Yeah, and this man
all
doesn't
the
need
people
to.
that he doesn't need
He doesn't need to work another day in his life.
Yeah,
but he understands that.
But his employees does
exactly. Everyone else who's working there, they might.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ultimately, when it comes to AI, just please use empathy. Like how just think at least a little bit about how people will be affected by it. Just empathy, please.
Yeah. Fucked. That's. I'm pretty sure that largely covers the.
It does.
The whole...
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Money and AI. That's the big issues being fought over.
Yeah. Well, apparently StarCraft 3 is in development.
What a I mean, this feels weird to me, but is it weird?
Man, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I mean, I kind of expected a new StarCraft at some point in time.
It's
but
13
it's been
years
how
old.
long?
13 years. 13 years, by the way. And like there hasn't been any stirrings of this until now. So I don't know. Is this because they didn't want to announce it the last couple of years because of the Microsoft buyout potential? Because obviously they'll have known that Microsoft was interested in them for a very long time.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there are people still play. A lot of people still play StarCraft 2.
Oh yeah, the fact that there wasn't a StarCraft 3 or at least another expansion that has been a surprise. But all the quiet for the last expansion was 2015, 2016?
Was that Wings of Liberty or something like that? Or whatever.
Legacy of the Void?
Legacy of the Void, okay, yeah.
I might be wrong. I don't know the order of things. But yeah, it's been a while. Hey, but to you all who like this, hey, finally, you'll have to tell me all about it. This is not my genre.
Oh, I mean, I played a little bit of StarCraft though. It was well, the last thing that came out was Nova Covert Ops, but I don't know what that is.
Wait.
I know.
Wasn't that the
it's a single player
game?
mission? No, it was a single player mission. It came out.
Oh, I thought that game got canceled.
No, it released in 3 packs in 2016. It was there were single player missions. So,
Oh, I wonder if I'm
but
thinking
the last
of.
big thing was Legacy of the Void.
I wonder if I'm thinking of like Ghost or something. There was one of those games that was based on. I thought it was Nova that got canceled.
Don't know. Anyway, I mean, I played StarCraft 2 for a little bit. Because one of my best friends like played a lot of StarCraft 2. And he taught me how to move my fingers in the way that gives me high APM. But like, I ain't played StarCraft 2 in like 13 years. So yeah,
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's
closest I've come to it is Civ.
Yeah, I played Civ with Ethos for a little bit.
Played Civ with Leek.
Yay!
Yeah,
She's
civilization.
she's the entirety of my SRPG time.
Yeah, I actually recently got Civ 6 on Steam sale.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, we can now move on to our other big news of
Oh, very big. I'll get the popcorn.
Right.
Popcorn time.
super big news. All right. So I said we'd talk about it when it happened. And as the prophet Nostradamus that I am, I told you all that Microsoft was going to win this battle.
I genuinely thought there was a good chance they wouldn't.
When the judge didn't rule in favor of the FTC after like the first week, I was like, all right, Microsoft's got this. So Microsoft wins. The judge ruled in favor of Microsoft in the court case against the FTC.
Yep.
FTC then immediately filed for appeal.
Correct.
Yeah. Ninth Circuit Court, which is the appeals court, then immediately denied the FTC.
I have to admit how impressed I am by this, because, to my knowledge, there's no reason for them to have rushed this answer. Like, they could have sat down and thought about this for a bunch of time, and they could have really screwed Microsoft. So this was super considerate.
I think the fact that they would have that it would have screwed Microsoft if they took their time to
the court doesn't give a shit. The court wouldn't suffer any backlash. That would purely be, it'd be unfortunate, and it would be morally wrong. No, the court had no obligation to do it in time.
I don't know about that, because the FTC sat on their ass for fucking forever before actually filing a court case until like literally the last month or whatever.
Exactly. This is how the game is played. It's scummy, to be sure. No argument.
Well, they probably took that into consideration and thought that the FTC was wrong in the fact that they took their time, like filing for a court case on the last month.
Possibly, yeah, possibly. It should be noted, however, this battle, though technically won, now the merger can happen, isn't actually over yet. It's not to do with the CSM. The FTC, or sorry, goddamn CSM somewhere.
No, I didn't say SAG-AFTRA. I kept saying all the letters. So
sorry. You were right. Not the Chainsaw Man. He has nothing to do with this. The CMA. It's actually the FTC. They will have a chance to. What's the wording on this? It needs to be specific. They'll challenge the merger, but now they have to wait until it is complete.
Yeah. So in legal case, Microsoft will own Activision Blizzard.
Yes, 100%.
They will in the next 3 days. Because it doesn't matter if so the thing with the CMA is that the changes that the CMA is asking for, Microsoft can make.
Yes, 100%.
And
they'd be fools not to, honestly.
They probably will, because the alternative is to have Microsoft pull out of.
Yeah, losing Europe, like straight up. I don't think losing Europe is worth owning.
Not Europe, UK.
Sure. Even then, I don't think
I mean,
losing the UK is worth
it's
is worth
not.
king.
It's not. But it is. It sucks. But we have to make that.
It is true. It is true.
That thing we have to make that description
Distinction.
because distinction.
Yeah.
UK and Europe are not the same anymore.
Fucking hell! What the hell's wrong with you, UK? Why did you make this complicated? Mostly for yourselves than anything else, but.
But I don't think Microsoft. There are small changes that Microsoft has to make for the CMA to accept it, and it all has to deal with the cloud service stuff. And Microsoft can easily do that, and they probably will do that because it's the path of least resistance. Because Microsoft has to go through with the merger in 3 days.
I mean, honestly, there's even if it's not the path of least resistance, they actually, I feel, and there's a lot that I don't understand about this industry, so forgive me if I'm wrong on this. I don't think they actually gain much for sticking to their guns on this one.
No,
they
gain more by doing the merger.
Just so, like, there's so much to gain from just not being
seriously,
dickheads.
I'm actually worried about the industry in the UK because there's a lot of studios there, and if Microsoft pulls out of the UK, that's a fucking big deal.
Well, that's what we're saying. Microsoft's not going to pull out because the changes that Microsoft needs to make are very small changes, and they will do it just to appease the CMA because it is the path of least resistance for them.
It is absolutely, yes.
Yeah. It would be ludicrous. There'd be so many studios in trouble.
Yeah, because they
Microsoft
would have to go
would be in trouble a bit as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which
While the UK
I think
may
is,
be separate from the EU
I think
now.
I think they care more about that than
yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, because like they have to go do with this merger in 3 days because if they don't, they owe Activision Blizzard King a lot of money without actually getting anything. Yeah, I mean, it's just like all they have to do is change a few things in their wordings, have the contract, get the CMA to sign it over, and everything will be fine and dandy. So in 3 days, Microsoft will own Activision Blizzard King.
So I am still, and we've talked about this multiple times, I'm still of two minds on this. On one hand, hell yeah, my Game Pass just shot up in how lucrative it is.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that's great. On the other hand, I still don't. I don't know
like
about this.
I
think Microsoft is. Yeah, I think Microsoft is too big.
Yeah.
Like people came at me sideways and were like, "Yeah, you didn't mind when Sony got Bungie." That's not a shifter. It really isn't. Microsoft is one of the most lucrative countries in the world, full stop.
Country?
No, in the world, full stop.
I know. You said lucrative countries.
Sorry.
Microsoft is its own country now, boys.
It's to the land of green. No, it's one of the most lucrative companies in the whole world. Like, and people have shot back and said, "Yeah, well, Xbox isn't Microsoft." To which I have to immediately respond, "Go fuck yourself." Yes, it is. Who is funding this smaller part of this large? This is Microsoft. Like, sure, it's not Windows. Yeah, what does it matter? We're talking about different parts of the same company.
You know what? You know what Microsoft's market cap is?
No, I actually don't know the exact number.
It's $2.57 trillion.
Yeah, see, like, this is unreal. I don't love that. And to be fair, if Sony were to go out and buy, EA or something, what's something that's comparable?
Nothing.
I don't think so, right? Yeah, like, frankly, I wouldn't like that either, but I would still think Microsoft is the more problematic of the two. Like, this isn't a move I like. Matter of fact, I don't like companies buying up bigger companies like this. If they buy up smaller studios that, might not make it, or maybe they do make it, but they don't amount to be anything quite to the scale of EA or Ubisoft, or actually Ubisoft's a bad example because I think they're about to explode, or Activision, that's fine. But like this is an actual huge shift in the market, and it does move towards a level of consolidation that may have impacts in the not so distant future.
Yeah, the super here's a super screwed up thing about this. All right, I will grant that Sony or at least PlayStation, kind of does some fuck things when it comes to acquisition because
for sure.
they'll specifically acquire games or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, their exclusivity nonsense exclusivity needs to be looked at. This is ridiculous.
But here's the one issue with that. All right, most of their exclusivity is timed. Outside of the stuff they specifically own, like Spider-Man,
sure,
and what the newly acquired Bungie, which by the way, even though they acquired Bungie, Marathon's still coming out for everything.
That's because, honestly,
it's not PlayStation exclusive.
That's because it's an MMO, not MMO. It's a multiplayer game that they would lose money on by keeping it on one console. Like that would just be a level of stupidity I would point and laugh at.
But and I understand, and it is kind of fucked Sony acquiring specifically certain games because as we know, due to this court case, due to the discovery that happened, Sony was in line to buy Starfield.
Yes,
the exclusivity to Starfield, and that's the whole reason that.
Do we know if it was in perpetuity or just timed?
We don't know.
Okay.
We all we know is that Broski got wind of Sony gonna buy Starfield, and he said no, and fucking pressed the button on buying ZeniMax.
Yeah.
And that's what got us the whole fucking Starfield being Xbox exclusive.
Just so.
The issue with that is that chances are Sony was gonna only probably have that timed exclusivity.
That was my assumption. Yeah.
I guarantee you that it was only going to be timed for like 6 months to a year. The other side of this issue is that now Starfield is Xbox and PC exclusive.
Yeah.
And that's not timed. It's perpetuity.
Yeah. There's a thing with timed exclusivity that I would like to see a government body look at. Maybe not. I don't have an opinion on whether they should rule one way or the other, but I would like them to look at it because the more I think about it, the more timed exclusivity does feel kind of like exclusivity after a point, though.
It does, because it does ruin the whole because most people are going to buy it as soon as it at first
exactly.
Launches,
so anyone
launches somewhere else.
So yeah, let's say a game comes out on all 3 platforms a year after it comes out, and we're going to use Sony because Sony is notorious for this. Neither Nintendo nor Xbox is going to make anything worth the money that they would usually look at. Like anything that they make is nice, but I can't imagine they actually care.
Yeah.
Because at that point, the majority of sales, the vast majority of sales have already gone, and everything that's going to be bought is probably being bought at a discount. Or if you're selling it at full price, you've reduced sales even more because people probably don't want to pay full price a year after release. Nintendo.
The only people that are gonna buy these games that come out on another console a year later or whatever are the people that wanted to play the game but weren't gonna buy a system for it.
Yeah.
Whatever. If you already have an Xbox and you didn't want to buy a PlayStation, you're just gonna wait the year to play it on your Xbox or play it on PC. I mean, hell, that's even the same with 16. At the moment, 16 is a PlayStation exclusive. But they only have a 6-month exclusivity deal for 16. That game's not going to be on PC until like a year, at least, because of the development
let
for
that
that.
Be good.
But they don't have the full exclusivity for it, and honestly, I don't think. I do think that 16 was a console seller, but only for people that were inclined to buying a PlayStation 5 or whatever. People that had Xbox or that strictly do Xbox or PC gaming or whatever, they weren't going to buy PlayStation 5 for this game. They were going to.
I'm inclined to agree.
So, and obviously we'll see a bunch of more sales for that later. When there's at least an announcement for it. But yeah, I mean, this is one of the things where I always say it's also hard for me to be a PlayStation fan because I do see the scummy shit with like buying, like having a specific game exclusivity as well, and I'm like, I understand Xbox's concern when it comes to like them buying up other like companies, I guess. But I feel like they should have went the same way that PlayStation goes instead of straight up outright buying companies, right? Because that even though Sony does it in a very like, haha, we're gonna go in and buy exclusivity for this like one game or whatever, they're at least not buying an entire company and making it like making their games like perpetually on the system. All right, you'll at least get something later on down the line. That being said, obviously COD's staying on every platinum platform. Period. I like even Jim Ryan's like it was even revealed. Jim Ryan didn't even believe that COD was gonna not be on
because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense or whatever.
It
Jim Ryan was just being
sense.
he was just being a kid or whatever. He just didn't want. And I understand as an executive in another business, I understand when you see another business buying up an entire quarter of a fucking gaming market. All right. To get a little, I would probably have acted like a kid too, because I'd been like,
I don't think this is acting like a kid though. I think this was he was using this to stop everything. Like that was a shrewd decision. He leaned in super hard on something that technically probably wasn't that important to stop something that he did perceive as being important. Because losing ZeniMax and ABK is, like you were saying, it's such a big swath of the industry. Huge.
Yeah. So I will never agree with these big company buyouts or whatever, but I understand Xbox's like concern. I understand the concern that they had for it, and even though they're going to do this buyout, they're never going to be like, this isn't going to shift Xbox from being the last in the console race to being the first in the console race, right? Because for one, Xbox has to make video games, and they currently don't.
That's their biggest issue at the moment. Regardless to anything they say, their issue is that they personally have not been putting out video games, and the games they have been putting out have been of poor quality.
Yeah. So,
or actually, there's a third one. They're very small indie titles because they do support the indie scene.
Yeah. So it's them buying up these other companies isn't just going to make them immediately have good games, because you're buying Activision Blizzard King, all right?
Mm-hmm,
the King portion of that you're going to make
Crush.
money from. The King portion of that you're going to make money from because just Candy Crush and everything, all right? Those aren't good games. Those are games that like that prey on people's like idle tendencies or whatever. You're buying Activision Blizzard, who are also not in the business of making very good video games of late. So, like Blizzard has Diablo 4, which came out, but they're also failing in their Overwatch 2 department.
Yeah, but there's the slightest problem with this being talked about. Yeah, Blizzard's putting out really mediocre titles.
Yeah,
but fuck me, they're selling.
It's because they're Blizzard. It's like Nintendo. All right.
Yeah.
The Nintendo can come out with shitty games, but people are gonna buy it because Nintendo is.
Yeah, and that I mean, but it kind of does fly in the face of the argument, right? Like, they're not buying it because they want better games. I mean, they do, but if they wanted better games, they weren't going to buy ABK right now. Well, they would buy it for K, but they wouldn't buy AB right now. They're buying these games because they're ludicrously profitable.
Yeah.
And especially with a monetization that is rife in the industry right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've got nothing else to say about this. It's I mean, 3 days, Activision Blizzard King is going to be Microsoft Activision Blizzard King. So
yeah, I'm conflicted, but I am looking forward to see what comes of this, even if it's like a morbid kind of curiosity at this point.
Hey man, Game Pass, dude.
Like I said, that's the other half.
StarCraft 3 is going to be on Game Pass, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I'll be. Oh,
World of Warcraft
oh.
subscriptions, man.
I wonder, and I
Do you
know
think
this. I do. Go ahead.
Do you think they'll stop BattleNet and then move it
Thank
to
you.
Game
Yes,
Pass?
exactly. I
Ah,
hope this is the fucking death of BattleNet or Battle.net. Fuck that launcher.
Yeah, but what are they gonna do? They gotta incorporate into Xbox.
Yes,
Uh,
and mostly, I don't like. I think I don't know. Maybe this is the sticky point for BattleNet. I don't need to be able to have like a mini little. I don't even call it Discord AIM for like all of my Blizzard games. That feels completely unnecessary. Like if I don't want to need to talk to people through the client between games, anyone who's doing that has Discord. That's how we're communicating.
yes.
Like, and I don't need all of my friends list on one page. I get that is actually probably super convenient, so you don't have to
but
keep
that's
doing
all
it
the
for every
Xbox app
game.
is.
Fantastic. I don't want to triple up on all of this. It's the number one thing in the industry. It's why people don't like Epic. It's why people don't like Origins. Like why people don't like all of these launches. If we can slowly but surely cut down all these launchers, even by evil means such as this, I fucking take it.
But Dalit, the Xbox app is just naturally on the PC. Period.
I wonder why I'm excited to see Battle.net go if I have one natively installed on my PC.
I know, but also the Xbox app is a horrible UI. That thing sucks.
I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, it definitely isn't like the Battle.net is going to be more. It's going to be better put together because it's just had more use. But I'm not too worried about that. Like I said, this is just a launcher. If I want to talk to people,
Yeah.
I have Discord, and adding friends isn't a. I don't need a UI for that. Like I don't even care if I have to do that game by game. I do it anyway.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. But yeah. We don't have any other news. What'd you link here?
It was just extra like, oh shit is happening now already. So there was a tweet by Lena Hall, and this is about the strike. So Snowpiercer, which is on Netflix, I think, season 4 did a full body scan and full range of emotion capture of all the series regulars on the show, not even telling us the real reason why. And now I know why, and it's really disturbing because I didn't give consent.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And she's never going to get paid for any of the use factors for those unless she sues.
And then Jared Becker replied, Marvel did the same thing for WandaVision, according to Deborah Jo Rupp. So, oh shit.
Oh, damn. Man, how hard is it to just fucking pay your actors and your writers? Like, literally. If these two things did not exist, you would not have the entertainment media. Like, come on, people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So yeah, watch that Black Mirror episode.
Black Mirror episode, yeah. Fucking A, man.
Oh,
everything
God.
could just be everything. It's like Simpsons, man. Everything can just be fucking predicted with Simpsons Black Mirror.
Oh God.
Anyway, I think that's it for our news.
That's
this week.
a wrap.
What are we doing this week, fam?
Gonna try out Dredge, add Deceiving, and then play like no brain cell games.
Head empty.
Head empty.
Head empty, no thoughts. Good game.
Yes.
I need hot chip. But no, don't worry about that. I don't want to get up to anything that I'm gonna have to like do long term. I will be stepping away for a couple of days next week, and I won't have access to any of my libraries or any of my gaming devices other than my Switch. So I'll probably continue to do Diablo until then. Maybe I'll do a little bit more in 12, but that's it. Nothing new to add to the list. Not till I get back.
Enjoy your holiday.
I wish it was a holiday.
Oh,
I mean, it technically kind of is.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like I will absolutely be going to the beach one of those days, but I'm mostly going for like when people die reasons.
I know. Okay.
Well, it's not it's next week isn't the 25th, so I will not be playing Remnant 2 until then. So I guess it'll be Trails into Reverie.
Hey.
Um,
Gotta level
I
up
don't
the entire cast. All
mean,
52 characters.
hey, that's not hard to do. The deluxe edition gives you 400 or 400 plus fucking Azure bottles that that gives you like a shit ton of experience that
Oh,
you can't go over like your current maximum. So
Sure.
it's for characters that are falling behind or something like that or whatever. So that's not an issue. But they also do give you some shining palms, which obviously give you stuff. And I mean, if I just want to pay to win, there's a decent bit of DLC that I could grab. Because Falcom and Nisa love to do their DLC where you can buy fucking Shining Palm sets or like advanced sets 1 and 2 for $40 each. Because yeah, fucking A, man. But yeah, I'll get on leveling all 51 of these characters that are in this game.
Mhm.
So that'll be amazing. Obviously, actually, Tuesday, patch 1.2 for Honkai Star Rail.
That's true.
I'm gonna be powering down that story. I want to know. Fucking Kafka's got to be in the story. She's still in the Shansho or whatever, and so she's with Blade. So let's do this, and then we get Lunar Imbibitor. Fucking we get the scene with the Lunar Imbibitor. Fucking Don Hung in this patch. So
Mm-hmm.
so we'll be able to see him in his dragon horn goodness, I guess. Anyway, that is this week. If you made it this far, please hit like, favorite, subscribe, share, do all that nice jazz. Tell us we suck in the comments if you're so inclined to do that. But yeah, we will see you guys next week.
Be good now.
Bye.
Before you go, remember to like, comment, and sub to us. Not only does it help out the channel and let us know what you're into, but it also makes you 100% cooler than everybody else. I checked with Aqua. It's definitely